Hello, my name is Akina Warner-Simmons. I am a benefits operations specialist with the benefits policy team.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan Moyle. I'm a senior business analyst here, also with Benefits Policy.
Welcome to our annual enrollment webinar. Here's a quick overview of what's new for this year. Beginning January 1st, 2025, Quantum Health, our new healthcare coordination vendor, will be Anthem and Cigna members' first stop when accessing medical, prescription, vision, and employee assistance program benefits. This enhancement to our services will support the best outcomes for our active clergy and lay employees. Please stay tuned for more details about the assistance Quantum will provide during annual enrollment. Also new this year, please note the medical trust will hold only that's right, one annual enrollment session for both active members and pre-65 former employees or retirees. Post-65 former employees or retirees will continue to have a separate annual enrollment period. New also this year is an institution plan sub-selection period. Plan sub-selection allows institutions affiliated with participating groups to choose medical and dental plan options from the array their participating groups offer to eligible individuals. Please check out cpg.org/AEADMIN, that's AEADMIN, for more information on annual enrollment date and details. Welcome again, everyone, and thank you for tuning in for the first in the series of annual enrollment prep for our administrators. We'd like to remind you that the focus audience for the majority of this webinar is new administrators or administrators who need a refresher about the health plan renewal and annual enrollment process for their organizations and are primarily My Admin Portal or MAP and Medical and Life Participant System MLPS administrators. There may be some of you attending this webinar who assist your employees with the renewal and annual enrollment process, but are not necessarily involved with group plan selection. Whichever bucket you fall in, we absolutely welcome you, but just keep in mind that all the information presented today may not pertain to your particular role. Another quick note, at CPG, we love our acronyms. You can go to cpg.org/APM to find the glossary of acronyms in the Administrative Policy Manual. For today's agenda, we will be reviewing the following topics. We'll review the Medical Trust Health Plan Renewal Process and Annual Enrollment Timeline, what it is, and how you can prepare for it as a group administrator. We'll also spend a good bit of time talking about the Medical Trust Health Plan Pricing Methodology. We'll talk about the different ways the Medical Trust communicates about renewal and annual enrollment and the tools and resources available to you. So let's begin by talking about the health plan selection and annual enrollment timelines. On this slide, we illustrate the seamless annual journey by which the medical trust provides its clients and our members with health benefits from planning all the way through to enrollment. It starts with plan policy and design work. Then we process the plan pricing. The final segments on the end-to-end journey are health plan renewal, also known as plan selections, and member annual enrollment. The first milestone is work performed by the benefits policy team in collaboration with our internal and external partners called Policy and Design. This is where we perform benchmarking and analyze trends in the benefits industry to ensure that we are offering meaningful, valuable benefits to our clients. We also listen to you, our clients, collecting feedback about the benefits and services we offer. The next milestone along the journey is pricing, the process to set plan pricing for each group for the plan coming year. The pricing process involves thorough assessment and collaboration between medical trust financial analysts and the benefits relationship managers to assure that those establishing the prices of your plans know about your local circumstances. More on pricing later. The next milestone, plan renewal, also known as group plan selection, concludes with each group selecting the plan or plans that will be offered by your group to its employees for the coming year. Now, to tie it back to the pricing milestone, plan renewal is when plan rates are introduced. This is where you come in. All participating group administrators have the important responsibility of making plan selections for their groups. The plans selected here are the plans that will be offered to your employees during the next segment of our journey, annual enrollment. Annual enrollment, or AE for short, is the final milestone in our journey. This concludes when individual members review and select new health plans for the new year. As with every year, we are encouraging all members to be actively engaged in theirs and their families' health benefit decisions. They can do this by checking their demographic details on record for accuracy, reviewing their plan enrollment selections, and making changes where needed. Let's take a deeper dive into the several milestones of our annual journey. The annual enrollment process can be broken down into 3 major segments: pre, main, and post-annual enrollment. Pre-annual enrollment. The plan array process includes products, vendors, and programs for the upcoming year, which are determined. New plan offerings and plans going away are decided. In the pricing process, the overall plan and group level analysis is conducted by our own experts and outside evaluators. Renewal production. This is the group by group analysis and rate setting for the plan renewals. The preparation and production of renewal and annual enrollment materials is in full swing during this period. We especially want to call out dependents aging out letters for dependents reaching the plan's limiting age and are no longer eligible for coverage. As you know, the active self-funded medical trust, medical and dental plans allow dependent children to be covered until the end of the plan year in which they reach age 30. These letters notify the dependents and subscribers of the dependents aging out of our coverage at the end of the plan year. It's important to note that dependents who reach the plan's limiting age and age out are eligible to continue their medical trust coverage through the Extension of Benefits program. They must respond to the extension benefit offer that we include in their dependent aging out letter if they wish to include or wish to continue coverage with us. For active members, the medical trust sends letters letting them know when their annual enrollment session is and how to log in to review their plan choices. For post-65 former employees, also known as retiree members, their annual enrollment materials and information will be mailed before their annual enrollment period. Now on to main annual enrollment. Group plan renewals. Now this is when you go into MAP and make plan selections for your group, will be from August to September. The medical trust is aware that during the plan renewal period, groups are meeting with vestries, executive leadership teams, benefits, and insurance committees and other decision makers to review and decide offerings for the new year. The earlier selections are made, the better, but it's critical that final decisions are made and submitted through the plan selection site no later than the deadline. This is key to a successful annual enrollment. Now, if a selection is not made by the deadline, members will not have plans to select from when they review their annual enrollment choices. If you haven't noticed, we're really trying to impress upon this audience the importance of submitting plan selections on or before the deadline. Annual enrollment member communication mailings will be sent throughout the fall, as well as post-65 former employee and pre-65 former employee letters and communications. Please check with your benefits relationship manager if you have questions about these annual enrollment dates, or log into cpg.org/AEadmin. Lastly, we have post-annual enrollment work, which takes place in December and January. CPG Client Services conducts a quality check of annual enrollment transactions to ensure that members are situated as they should be within our systems and with our vendors. Member ID card production and mailing occurs here as well as appropriate. Now, just a reminder, if a member gets a new ID card, even if they weren't expecting to receive a new ID card, securely dispose of the old ID card and start using the new one. No need to call CPG to verify the new ID card. As we settle our plans and determine which Plan ID cards will be subject to reissue, we will update you so that you can be prepared in the event of questions. In addition to today, there are several administrator education opportunities that occur throughout the year that we'd like to draw your attention to. First, there's the Health Plan Renewal and Annual Enrollment webinars for administrators, like you're on today. Please check cpg.org/ARC for more information about the Annual Enrollment webinar series and registration links. This year, we'll continue to post e-learning guides to the website with information about topics of interest to the renewal and annual enrollment administrators. Finally, we plan to hold our Episcopal Business Administration Conference, otherwise known as EBAC, in the fall for administrators and leadership staff of dioceses, large parishes, and specific participating institutions. We're excited to continue this feature intended to make life easier for annual enrollment administrators, a central page on cpg.org where we'll post health plan renewal and annual enrollment information such as news and updates, education opportunities, and the interactive modules we discussed on the prior slide, copies of annual enrollment documents and mailings, key dates, and other resources. The web address for this centralized page is cpg.org/AEadmin. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jonathan.
So let's start with an overview of pricing and trends. The Medical Trust recognizes that health benefits represent a large portion of our clients' budgets, and we recognize the enormous trust placed in us by the Church to faithfully administer the denominational health plan as directed by resolutions of the General Convention. We are sensitive to balancing the needs of the Church for cost containment with our responsibility of financial stewardship and reducing healthcare premium disparity among the dioceses. Therefore, the annual pricing process is very detailed and includes multiple steps to ensure our analysis balances these considerations. Health plans typically develop their rating structures and annual pricing actions based on several common methodologies, or combinations thereof. These procedures take into account various actuarial risk factors, data inputs, the experience of the plan and basal assumptions in order to determine their exposure to risk and price accordingly. The rating methodology used by the Medical Trust is a form of adjusted community rating. It is comprised of two main steps that you can see on the slide. Step 1. Determination of total required contributions. This is the blue box titled Overall. Step 2. Allocation of total required contributions. This is the green box titled Group Specific. As to overall factors, each year the Medical Trust reviews its total claims experience in order to determine the required level of contributions needed to cover projected plan expenses. Now moving to the right on our slide. The second step of the annual pricing process relates to the allocation of the overall required annual contributions across Medical Trust participating groups. The Medical Trust reviews all rating factors related to a group's current rating position to account for any significant variations from the prior year. As a baseline to group-specific rating, the group characteristics, including the geographic costs of healthcare and group demographics such as age, gender, and family composition, are initially analyzed. Each year, the most recent 3 years of claims experience, to the extent available, is also analyzed in validating the current combination rate levels. So now, let's talk about trend. While trend can be defined in several ways, here we mean the projected increase in per capita costs of medical services that is used to calculate health plan contributions from one year to the next. For example, a 10% trend means that a plan that costs $10,000 per employee in one year would cost $11,000 in the following year. Trend is a combination of factors, including whether the plan third-party administrators are seeing unit cost inflation for medical products, services, and utilization, whether there has been a change in the frequency or intensity of services being used, changes in the demographics of the covered population, etc. The medical trust also reviews cost trend studies available, ranging from pure national estimates based on changes in cost and third-party administrator trend reports, which may be more effective of the fully insured smaller employer market. There are a number of factors that can impact healthcare trend, and they can be a mix of favorable and unfavorable. Some of these factors are highlighted on this slide, but in the interest of time, we will just acknowledge them and move on to our next segment. With that, we've completed our review, and we're moving into the next segment of the end-to-end process, health plan renewals. Here, we review the various elements of the renewal package that the medical trust makes available to MAP MLPS administrators on renewal release day. We will send an announcement email letting the group administrators know their renewal package is available for the MAP MLPS administrator to access. Notice that a step-by-step plan selection instruction document is available on cpg.org/ARC. These instructions describe how to access the plan selection sheet and make your plan selections in MLPS. We'll have a look at the plan selection process later in this presentation, so stay tuned for more. On the right-hand side of the screen, we note some of the select documents that are included in your renewal package. The Medical Trust Renewal Letter. This letter is a central element of the renewal package. The renewal letter provides an overview of health cost trends, details the medical pricing methodology, as well as any plan changes to note. The Administrative Policy Manual, also known as the APM. Administrator Policy Manual, Participating Group Agreement, and User Consent Agreement. It is important to review these interrelated documents carefully because they are updated annually. The Administrative Policy Manual outlines group responsibilities and includes important definitions, forms, and policies and procedures for plan eligibility and enrollment and other medical trust rules. The Participating Group Agreement is a legal contract between your participating groups and the medical trust. Compass reports. Compass reports are detailed dashboards of enrollment, cost, and utilization data. All groups will see the Medical Trust Compass report. Groups with 50 or more members will also see group-specific reports. The renewal package includes instructions that are included to help you interpret these reports. Healthcare compliance notes. The Medical Trust sends updated versions of these legally required notices to enrolled employees each year, usually in the fall. Administrator letter templates. Customizable letters to support the group administrator's communications efforts regarding the plan selected and the upcoming annual enrollment. Plan comparison chart. Chart includes key benefit details for all health plans offered by the Medical Trust. As mentioned, renewals are available to group administrators in MAP and MLPS and must be submitted by the deadline. As mentioned, renewals are available to group administrators in MAP and MLPS and must be submitted by the deadline. And here we focus in on communicating to your associated institutions and employees. I'll refer you to the Medical Trust Administrative Policy Manual. It can be accessed via cpg.org/APM. For more information about the responsibilities of group administrators and obligations of participating groups in communicating with eligible employees. We discussed the administrator letter templates and the plan comparison chart earlier. Here, we want to call out the annual enrollment guide. This guide can help employees to make their annual enrollment plan selections. This is available at cpg.org/AE guide. That's cpg.org/AE guide. Akina, back to you for a walkthrough on how admins will access this renewal package.
Thank you, Jonathan. And now let's move on to group plan selection. Now, some of you may be familiar with MAP, My Admin Portal, Once you log in, the group administrator will click on the Benefits Group and Billing tab. And from here, you'll be prompted with a quick action to view plan selection. This is going to bring you to our next slide, which is a pop-up saying that you're about to navigate to a new tab. Click Continue. This is taking you to the MLPS screen that, for those of you who are pros at making group plan selections, this will all be very familiar to you. It's the same process that we've had in previous years. We're about to walk through these screens next. Now, for newer administrators, never fear. We've developed instructions and cheat sheets to help you through the process of working your way through these screens to submit your plan selections, which we'll provide later. And it's posted online the same time as your plan renewal package is released. Now, as always, your benefits relationship manager is at the ready to support you in any way if you have issues making your selection. And now that you've crossed the bridge from MAP to MLPS, you're ready to review your group's plan selection offerings and make selections. You'll want to affirmatively accept or decline each of the plans your group is offering. Do not leave any of the radial buttons on the selection sheet blank. Please select either accept or decline for each. Now, when you click Submit, a legal consent box will appear. This confirms that the group's agreement to the plans and rates, as well as their obligations under the participating group's agreement and the Administrative Policy Manual. Now, this screenshot is from the system, which demonstrates what you'll need to do if you wish to request additional options from the plan selection sheet. Examples of additional options your group may wish to request. Now, if you're considering changes to your group's rate tiering, or if you're considering buying up or down the group's pharmacy benefit. Now, this is where you'll make that request. Reiterating what we said, you'll want to submit early, especially if you're seeking additional options. First, leave the radials in the selection sheet blank. Check the box for additional option requested. Leave a comment describing your request in the plan request box, and then click Submit. Again, if you have any questions about this process, please contact your benefits relationship manager. When your additional option request has been reviewed, upon receiving notice that the request is ready for you to consider, log back into the MLPS screen and go to the plan selection sheet. You'll have the ability to select from drop-downs for the additional options, then click View Plans to refresh the selection sheet. Again, all of this is outlined in the plan selection instructions for administrators document that will be linked to the renewal announcement email. This provides the step-by-step process of completing the plan selection in MLPS. Okay, one last item to note as far as plan selections. If your group is offering Medicare secondary payer, small employer exception plans, the C plans, you'll want to be sure to accept those desired plan options in the selection sheet. You can distinguish the C plans, SEE plans, from the non-C plans by looking carefully at the plan name. In this screenshot from the selection sheet, you'll see that on this slide, we're using the Anthem and Cigna C PPO 100 plan as an example of what to look for. You can tell that these are the small employer exception plans because the plan name includes MSP. Compare this to the non-small employer exception version of the Anthem PPO 100, for example, which is in bold in the second row at the top of the selection sheet. Notice the absence of the MSP acronym from the plan name. Now I'll turn it back over to Jonathan to talk about plans going away before leading into annual enrollment member education.
This slide highlights important considerations for when a group has plans going away. As mentioned earlier, the medical trust will continue to offer medical plan options using the Anthem and Cigna networks, now administered by Ameriben, an Anthem affiliate, and by Allegiance, a Cigna bit. This slide highlights important considerations for when a group has plans going away. As mentioned earlier, the medical trust will continue to offer medical plan options using the Anthem and Cigna networks, now administered by Ameribin, an Anthem affiliate, and by Allegiance, a Cigna affiliate, respectively. As always, we encourage members to engage with us during annual enrollment and review their demographic and dependent enrollment information for accuracy. Members who are enrolled in a plan no longer being offered are in a plan going away. Those members will need to actively participate in AE to select coverage. Members who are enrolled in a plan no longer offered are in a plan going away. Those members will need to actively participate in AE to select coverage. If a member is in a plan going away and they don't make a selection for new coverage through the enrollment site during annual enrollment, they will not have coverage. MAP has tools and reports available to help administrators manage their members, especially those in plans going away. As always, reach out to your benefits relationship manager if you need assistance. We'll review more about the AE administration and reports later in this webinar. In this portion of the webinar, we'll talk about the various ways Medical Trust communicates annual enrollment to your employees. Here, we'd like to point out the several member education opportunities available. First, you can contact your benefits relationship manager to arrange a member education session for your group. Second, you can reach out to Quantum for support. Here, we have the estimated mail dates for our annual enrollment member communications. The idea is to put this information in the member's hand about a week before their annual enrollment session commences. The AE letter for active members contains important information about how to access the enrollment site, including the credentials, which helps members to create a login if it's your first time accessing the MyCPG portal for members. In an effort to help make this communication stand out to our active members, we send it in a green envelope. As a reminder, we post a generic copy of the member AE letter on the cpg.org/ARC site if your employee does not receive the letter in the mail. You can retrieve a copy of the generic letter from ARC shortly after we mail. There are lots of resources available to help you and your employees to have a successful annual enrollment. For administrators, we'll mention again the Renewal and AE Admin resource page. That's cpg.org/AEadmin. For members, the annual enrollment pages on our website can be accessed via cpg.org/annual enrollment. We've grouped the content by type. There are tiles for active employees, former employees under age 65, and a post-65 former employees that will bring the visitor to audience-appropriate information, such as the summary of benefits and coverage, our annual enrollment guide, health plan, third-party administrator contact information, resources, and support. cpg.org cpg.org/annual enrollment provides general information about the medical trust's overall offerings, meaning it is not customized to be specific to any participating group. For the group-specific plan offering, the member will need to log into the enrollment site. While annual enrollment is live, we also include a link on these landing pages that will take the member to the annual enrollment site login. Speaking of which, here we are at the login screen. As we just mentioned, during AE, a member can go to cpg.org/annual enrollment to learn more about the medical trust offerings and access the enrollment site. We are looking at the MyCPG account login screen here. Members will use their MyCPG accounts login credentials to access the enrollment site. It's a bit hard to see on the screen, but note that we have updated our login credential requirements. Members will need to use their personal email on file if they have already created a MyCPG account login in order to access the AE site. If they don't have a MyCPG account's login credential, they'll need to create one, using the client number we include in their AE member letter. Our client services team will be standing by to take any technical questions or offer password reset help that may be necessary. Again, we encourage members to log on to the enrollment site to check their demographic data and ensure their eligible dependents are enrolled according to their desires. We love to see high member engagement with the enrollment site, and we rely heavily on the heroes who are with us today, our administrator colleagues, to champion the importance of logging on and thinking through available healthcare options. These next few slides will highlight some of the ways that you can help your employees to prepare for a successful annual enrollment. Be sure to clearly communicate any cost-sharing policies or provisions your particular group or institution may have in place. And particularly, should those cost-sharing arrangements change from one year to the next? Employees will appreciate knowing their monthly costs upfront when weighing the plan options that are available to them for the new year during annual enrollment. We touched on this briefly earlier. If your group has plans going away, again, plans that are offered this year that the group will not offer in the new year, be sure that employees know this, especially those who might be enrolled in those plans going away right now. And be sure those employees in plans going away know that they must take action during annual enrollment or they will not have coverage with the medical trust in the new year. Continuing on, if your group offers HSA qualified plans, consumer-directed health plans, or CDHPs, then you'll want to make sure your employees know how these plans work, whether there are any contribution funding policies your group has in place, and be sure to talk through the HSA custodian. Medical Trust's preferred HSA custodian is Health Equity, but if the employer or employee would like to administer their HSA outside of Health Equity, they are free to do so. They must simply work that out and make sure the contribution funding process is clear. We also have resources available for our Medicare secondary payer small employer exception plans. Please reach out to your benefits relationship manager for more information. Importantly, make sure you help your employees understand the basics. Anything you can do to help your employees understand how their benefits work, the more informed they will be. The better equipped they are to maximize their decision-making for themselves and their family's healthcare in annual enrollment. Our annual enrollment guide and the plan comparison chart are helpful tools to educate the employees. And also have a look at the fact sheets and e-learning guides online at cpg.org on the annual enrollment landing pages each year that goes through these fundamental principles of employee benefits and insurance. And finally, be sure to remind employees about all the additional benefits that are included in their health plan offering at no additional cost. Examples of this are telehealth, vision benefits, the Cigna Employee Assistance Program, and Hinge Health. Back to you, Akina.
Thank you, Jonathan. Now, here we're going to zero in on monitoring your group's progress and explain the rationale as to why it's so important to keep tabs on membership during annual enrollment. We'll also review the plan's going away reports in this section. Please note that there's also an interactive guide that will be available on cpg.org/AEadmin. Now, once on the reports landing page, click on the quick action buttons for either the benefits group reports or the billing accounts reports quick action buttons. You can access the annual enrollment reports through either the benefits group reports or billing accounts reports areas. The annual enrollment reports are available in a system called Domo. The information in Domo is organized into different cards. All the data is the same, but the difference is the way the information is presented to you. For example, a familiar Excel-style spreadsheet of all data can be accessed in the Complete Report card, below the cards you see on your screen. We do have an interactive guide available with annual enrollment report instructions, but the next slides will just give you a flavor of how to work the tool. Please see the interactive guide for more information, and you can find that on, of course, cpg.org/AEadmin. You can expand the card to view the full set of data, or you can even expand the card, which displays to look very much like an Excel spreadsheet. Here's a look at the expanded view just a bit closer, including card filtering options. From any expanded card, you can click on the Export icon at the upper right-hand corner of the window to export data in the format you prefer, whether it be Excel, CSV, file, print, and so on. There will be several webinar and education opportunities for the remainder of the year to learn more about annual enrollment. Please join us at our next annual enrollment administrator webinar and register at the Administrator Resource Center at cpg.org/ARC. Thank you for joining us today. Until we see each other again.